Alright, I'm back again, and I've got something a little different to talk about. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where life seems to be going your way, then all of a sudden the wheels come off of the success wagon and you're back riding the struggle bus. I've been through that many times throughout my life where it just seems like everything is starting to go my way, things are starting to fall into place. And then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, I'm back where I started, if not worse off than when I started. And I've thought about it, and I've thought about it, and I've thought about it. And I've started to realize that, call it the universe teaching me a lesson, divine intervention, whatever. Somehow or another, it's like I'm trying to be taught a lesson, because I realized right before I have to board the struggle bus again. It's like there's a test to see if I've truly grown, if I'm ready to step up to the next level to receive whatever. And every time I have been knocked down, it's because I've realized that I didn't step up. When I set a boundary, I didn't maintain it. When I said no, I allowed myself to be talked out of going with what I said. And I'm not talking about a compromise. I'm talking about where there's a meeting in the middle. No, it's always been me giving up pretty much everything I was standing on to placate someone else. And then I get knocked down again. And I've come to realize that it's literally like that. It's like I'm being tested by a guardian angel, if you will, to see if I truly am ready, if I've learned my lessons, if I'm ready to step up to receive what's truly mine, meant for me, the blessings, what have you. And the number of times that's, looking back, the number of times it's been quite obvious and I've not followed through with it has been, I'm kicking myself, because I'm realizing just how much further along I could be right now if I had trusted my gut, trusted my intuition, trusted the little angel on my shoulder, and not allowed myself to be convinced that I'm a horrible, selfish human being for saying no. Not, think about it, and it's truly amazing. I could have, a vehicle not only that is in better shape, but because even if I kept the one I have now, I could have afforded to pay someone to fix all the stuff, including all the stuff that the mechanic I had been taking it to said was not an issue, and it was. All this stuff, like I said, this car could have been relying less on my hackery, or I could have a better vehicle with less miles on it. I could have a better job, better health, even relationships, if I had just allowed myself to be and not allow myself to be drugged down, gaslighted, and everything else, to where I was left with limited zeal for life. And ultimately, I have no one to blame but myself, because it's one of those situations where a part of me deep down knew better. I just didn't trust myself. And I would like to think I'm finally getting into a position where I have at least begun to learn to trust myself, to listen to myself, to stand up for myself. Because one thing I have realized is, and this is true for everyone, in the end, no one truly has your back except for yourself. You may have a support structure that can help you, that will have your back for some things, and it can vary who has your back for what. But in the end, truly, the only person you can absolutely trust to have your back is yourself. Your ulterior motive is to take care of yourself, to do what's best for yourself. And you can't say that about everyone else, because even your own family, under certain circumstances, will throw you under the bus to benefit them. I know that sounds a little bit more crass than it may be, but it's still true. Heck, the main motivation for this speech is because of members of my family. And what brought this on was I started to realize that things were seemingly starting to go my way. I was starting to get traction. Things were looking up. And sure enough, I was put in a situation where I had to say no, stick with my guns, and I've been doing this for a few months now. And now that it's nut cutting time, instead of accepting my offer, my conditions, they're trying to do everything but. And keep in mind, these are people, not just family members, that I've known my entire life. Changed my diaper even. And rather than accepting my terms and conditions, they're going the route of telling me I'm a horrible, selfish human being who only thinks of themselves. All because I'm opting to tell them no and stick with my guns and stand by what I said, 4 or 5 months ago. And you know what? There's a part of it that feels, pardon the language, it feels damn good. A little nerve-wracking, but it feels good. And I will admit, having some people who traditionally have not stand up for me makes it feel a little bit better. But in the end, like I said, those people that are sticking up for me haven't traditionally always done so. And that's why I say, in the end, no one truly has your back better than yourself, because you have no ulterior motive other where you're being self-serving. Because if you're being self-serving, you're taking care of yourself, your own best interests. I mean, I'm sure if anyone who watches this takes the time to do a little self-reflection, I'm sure you would agree too that there are situations where that this applies to some degree or another. And learning how to be cognizant and to recognize these tests, these opportunities, is one of the biggest parts of the battle, because you can learn to say no all you want, but if you don't know when to say no, what good is it? It's kind of like a teacher told me in college one time, and I will, this is an exact quote, so I will give it to you as an exact quote, language and all. As my the last jazz band professor I had, a guy from New Jersey, so I'll try to emulate his accent. It was my last semester as a music major before my neck crapped out and I had to give up saxophone. And to say the least, I found myself in a very unfortunate situation where I'd been talked into doing a 20 credit hour course load as a music major. And I was 20 credit hours, but it only showed as 19 because someone went in and deleted one of the classes. If you don't know what it's like to be a music major, let me explain. You will have a course that is 1 credit hour, but you meet for 3 hours a week. Usually that's like your ensembles. I had one that was 2 credit hours, and it met hour and a half Tuesday and Thursday, and an hour Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give you an idea. Now, the thing is, for each credit hour of an ensemble, they expect you to practice 6 hours a week. For each credit hour of a private lesson, you are expected to practice 6 hours a week. That is including for any instrument you're taking lessons on, as well as if you're taking, say, classical piano. At the time in question, I was in 6 ensembles, taking lessons on 3 instruments, as well as classical piano. And that was on top of other coursework, including probability and statistics. I had done the math. To meet the minimum requirements that they expected of me, I would have had to have been up for 6 days straight, either doing homework, practicing, or in class. No sleep. That does not include sleeping, going to the bathroom, commuting, walking between classes, or anything else. And that is when this professor gave me these words of wisdom, because I'd been talked into, because I was a music performance major. I had to take it. I would really benefit from this, and I believed the BS. He told me this: sometimes you just have to know when to say, fuck you. That is an exact quote. And it's very true. It's not enough to know to say those 2 words. It's to know when to and not to say them. And you've got to be strong enough to stick up and stand your ground, even when it seems like the entire world is pointing the finger, telling you you're evil. That's my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think. Have you found any situations like that yourself, where you kind of kick yourself now, you feel like you've been tested? Or is it just me? I don't think it's just me, because I've had listened to other videos where people have given similar advice, including today. But let me know what you think. Later.